humanity's fury arrived 40,000 years after Earth's destruction. Captain Zaran noticed the massive human ship appearing on his scanners, his blood running cold as he recognized the legends. Every Krell knew to run. Zaran commanded the Krell's fury on routine patrol in the Outer Rim when the unfamiliar Leviathan dwarfed his battle cruiser. Hails went unanswered, then the ship vanished without a trace. Determined to unravel this mystery, Zaran reported to Krell High Command. The humans were supposed to be extinct, their return signaled doom for the Krell Imperium and the subjugated races of the galaxy. It was up to Zaran to learn the humans' intentions and stop them, or kneel before humanity's resurgent vengeance. The Krell had mere days to discover the human plan and save their empire from annihilation. Captain Zaran pored over ancient records, his curiosity growing as he read. The records spoke of a species known as humans who once ruled a vast empire that spanned the galaxy, their technology far surpassing anything the Krell had seen. The records revealed the humans had been destroyed in a cataclysmic war with an unknown enemy over 40,000 years ago, with a few survivors fleeing to the far reaches of the galaxy. Zaran leaned back in his chair, his mind racing. Could it be possible? Could the humans still be out there, waiting to return and reclaim their lost empire? He had to find out the truth. Zaran spent days locked in his quarters, studying the records and searching for clues about the humans' whereabouts. He barely slept or ate, worrying his crew, but he was consumed by his quest. Finally, after days of searching, he found a planet on the edge of the galaxy that had once been a thriving human settlement. It was a long shot, but it was the only clue he had. Zaran set a course for the planet, his heart pounding with anticipation. When they arrived, they found only ruins, the remnants of a once great civilization. As Zaran explored the crumbling buildings and overgrown streets, he found artifacts and pieces of technology far beyond anything the Krell had created. He picked up a small device, a handheld computer, marveling at its complexity and sophistication. The more he learned, the more he realized that the humans had been more than a myth, they were a force to be reckoned with. But what had caused their downfall, and could they still be out there, waiting to return and reclaim what was theirs? Zaran didn't know the answers, but he knew one thing for certain: the humans were real and a threat to the Krell Imperium. He had to find them and stop them before it was too late. Gathering up the artifacts, he returned to his ship, his mind racing with plans and possibilities. The hunt was on, and he would not rest until he had uncovered the truth behind the legend of the humans. Captain Zaran stood on the bridge, staring out at the vast expanse of space. He had been searching for weeks, following every lead about the humans, but so far his efforts had yielded nothing. His first officer, a tall, muscular Krell named Garar, approached with a concerned look. "Captain, I must speak with you," Garar said. "The crew is growing restless. They feel we have been neglecting our duties in pursuit of this obsession of yours." Zaran's jaw clenched. "It is not an obsession, it is a mission of utmost importance. The humans could threaten our entire empire. Giar shook his head. "With all due respect, Captain, there is no evidence to support that claim. The humans have been gone for thousands of years. Even if they did exist, what makes you think they would be a threat to us?" Zaran slammed his fist down on the console. "You didn't see what I saw on that planet. The technology they possessed was beyond anything we've encountered. If they return, they could wipe us out in days." Garar opened his mouth to respond, but a loud beeping from the communications console interrupted him. Zaran strode over and read the message with widening eyes. "It's from High Command. They are ordering me to abandon my investigation and return to Krell space immediately." Garar looked relieved. "Then we should do as they say, Captain. This search has gone on long enough." But Zaran shook his head, determined. "No, I will not abandon this mission, not when we are so close to the truth." He turned to his crew. "I know many of you have doubts, but I assure you, this is not a wild goose chase. The humans are real, and they are out there. If we don't find them first, someone else will. I cannot force any of you to come with me, but I will continue this search with or without you." One by one, the crew stepped forward, their faces set with determination. Zaran felt a surge of pride. "Then, it is settled. We will continue our search, no matter the cost, and we will not rest until we have found the truth." He turned back to the console and plotted a new course, his mind racing with possibilities. He knew he was taking a great risk by defying his superiors, but he also knew he could not turn back now. As the ship sped through the stars, Zaran felt a sense of excitement building within him. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew he was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. With his loyal crew by his side, nothing could stop him from achieving his goal. Days turned into weeks as they ventured further into uncharted space. The crew was on edge, their nerves frayed from constant stress. Zaran remained focused, his eyes fixed on the scanners, searching for any sign of the humans. Suddenly, the ship's sensors began to beep urgently. Zaran leaned forward, his heart pounding as he saw a blip on the screen. It was a ship, massive and made of strange, shimmering metal. His first instinct was to approach and make contact, but before he could give the order, the communications console crackled to life. A deep, gravelly voice filled the bridge. "Attention, Krell vessel, this is Zorgon, leader of the Black Star Pirates. You are trespassing in our territory. Surrender now or be destroyed." Zaran had heard of Zorgon and his ruthless pirates but had never encountered them before. He knew they were not to be trifled with but couldn't back down now. "This is Captain Zaran of the Krell Imperium. We mean you no harm. We are on a mission of great importance and request safe passage through your territory." There was a moment of silence. Then Zorgon's voice came again, amused. "A mission of great importance, you say? And what might that be?" Zaran hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. "We are searching for a lost species known as the humans. We believe they may have left behind technology and artifacts of great value." Zorgon laughed. "The humans? You're chasing a myth, Captain. But I'm intrigued. If you're willing to share any technology or treasure you find, I'll help you out. But if you try to double-cross me, I'll blast you out of the sky faster than you can blink." Zaran gritted his teeth. He didn't trust Zorgon but had no choice. "Very well. We have a deal. But I warn you, Zorgon, if you betray us, you will regret it." Zorgon laughed again. "I like your spirit, Captain. But don't worry, I always keep my word. Now let's get moving, we've got a lot of ground to cover with that." The two ships set off together, venturing into the unknown depths of space. Zaran knew he was taking a great risk by allying with a pirate, but he would do whatever it took to find the humans and uncover the truth behind their disappearance. As they flew deeper into uncharted space, Zaran felt a sense of excitement building again. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he was one step closer to his goal. With Zorgon and his pirates by his side, he knew he had a fighting chance of succeeding. The ship shook as another blast rocked the hull. Zaran gripped the armrests of his chair, his knuckles white. "Report," he barked. "Shields at 60%, Captain Gar replied, his voice tense. "The Zani are hitting us hard." Zaran gritted his teeth. They had been ambushed by a Zani warship just as they entered the uncharted system. The Zani demanded they surrender and hand over any information about the humans, but Zaran had refused. Now they were locked in a desperate battle for survival. The Zani ship was larger and more heavily armed than theirs, and Zaran knew they couldn't hold out much longer. "Captain, I'm picking up an anomaly on the scanners," one of the crew members said, his voice shaking. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before." Zaran leaned forward, his eyes narrowing on the screen. He saw a swirling vortex of energy pulsing with an eerie green light, drawing them in with an irresistible force. "What is that thing?" Zorgon asked, tense. "I don't know," Zaran replied, "but we don't have a choice. We have to go through it." He turned to the helmsman. "Take us in." Full speed ahead, the ship lurched forward, plunging into the heart of the anomaly. The crew braced themselves as the ship shook and shuddered, the hull groaning under the strain. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, it was over. The ship emerged on the other side of the anomaly, and Zaran's eyes widened in shock. Before them lay a vast expanse of space dotted with the ruins of ancient ships and stations, like a graveyard from a long-forgotten battle. "What is this place?" Zorgon whispered in awe. "I don't know," Zaran replied, "but I have a feeling we're about to find out." Suddenly, the ship's sensors began to beep urgently. "Captain, we're picking up a distress signal," Garar said, tense. "It's coming from one of the stations." Zaran hesitated, then nodded. "Take us in, Gar, but be on your guard. We don't know what we're walking into." As they approached the station, Zaran saw it was badly damaged, its hull scorched and blackened by weapons fire. There was a faint glimmer of light coming from one of the airlocks. They docked with the station, and Zoran led a team of his best warriors inside, their weapons at the ready. The station was dark and silent, the only sound the echo of their footsteps on the metal floor. Then they heard a voice. "Who's there?" it called out, weak and raspy. Zoran stepped forward, his heart pounding. "I am Captain Zoran of the Krell Imperium. We come in peace." There was a moment of silence, then a figure emerged from the shadows. It was a man, tall and gaunt, with a shock of white hair and piercing blue eyes. "I am Dante," he said, his voice thin and reedy, "and I have been waiting for you." Zoran's eyes widened in shock. "Waiting for us? What do you mean?" Dante smiled a sad, haunted smile. "I am the last of the humans," he said, "and I have a message for you." He gestured for them to follow him and led them deeper into the station to a small, dimly lit room. In the center stood a stasis pod, its surface frosted over with age. "We have been hiding here for thousands of years," Dante said, his voice filled with deep, abiding sadness, waiting for the right moment to strike back against our ancient enemy. The Zani Zoran's mind raced with questions, but before he could ask them, Dante continued. "The Zani believe we hold the key to ultimate power, and they will stop at nothing to obtain it. But we cannot let that happen. The fate of the galaxy depends on it." He turned to Zoran, his eyes burning with fierce intensity. "Captain Zoran, I have seen the future, and in that future, you play a crucial role in the fight against the Zani. But you must be ready, you must be strong. The battles ahead will test you in ways you cannot imagine." Zoran nodded, his heart racing with a mixture of fear and excitement. He knew he was standing on the brink of something momentous, something that would change the course of history. And he was ready for it, ready to fight, ready to die, ready to do whatever it took to protect the galaxy from the Zani and their insatiable hunger for power. He turned to his crew, his eyes blazing with determination. "We have a new mission," he said, his voice ringing out in the silence. "We must find the key to defeating the Zani, and we must do it before they find us. The fate of the galaxy depends on it." With that, they set out into the unknown, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They knew they were no longer just warriors, but guardians of a secret that could change the course of history forever. The station shook as another blast rocked the hull. Alarms blared and sparks flew from damaged consoles. Zoran gripped the edge of a control panel to steady himself. "Shields are down to 20%, Gyar shouted over the chaos. "We can't take much more of this," Zoran gritted his teeth. The Zani had found them. A dozen warships had dropped out of hyperspace, weapons blazing. They were outnumbered and outgunned. "Dante, how much longer until your fleet is ready?" Zoran asked, turning to the human leader. Dante's face was grim. "The reactivation sequence is almost complete, but we need more time," Zoran nodded. "Then we'll buy you that time. Gurar, divert all power to weapons and thrusters. Zorgon, take your ship and flank them from the left. We'll hit them with everything we've got." Zorgon grinned, a fierce light in his eyes. "With pleasure, Captain." The two ships peeled away from the station, weapons charging. They wove through the Zani fleet, dodging missiles and energy beams. Zoran's fingers flew over the controls, targeting the nearest warship. He fired a volley of torpedoes, watching with satisfaction as they slammed into the enemy ship's hull. But the Zani were relentless. They swarmed around Zoran and Zorgon's ships like angry hornets, pummeling them with laser fire. Consoles exploded, and the deck lurched beneath Zoran's feet. "Shields are gone," Gurar reported, his voice tight with strain. "Hull breach on deck 4." Zoran's heart raced. They couldn't hold out much longer. He glanced at the readout showing the status of the human fleet. Just a few more minutes. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the view screen. Zoran squinted against the glare, his eyes widening as he saw what had appeared. A massive fleet of human ships had materialized out of nowhere, their sleek silver hulls glinting in the starlight. They moved with fluid grace, like a school of deadly fish, and were armed to the teeth. The Zani ships scattered, caught off guard by the sudden appearance of this new threat. The human ships opened fire, their weapons cutting through the enemy fleet like a hot knife through butter. Zoran watched in awe as the tide of the battle turned. The human ships moved with a precision and coordination that was breathtaking to behold, anticipating the Zani's every move and countering their attacks with deadly efficiency. Within minutes, the Zani fleet was in ruins. Ships exploded, and debris littered the battlefield. The few remaining enemy vessels turned tail and fled, vanishing into the depths of space. Zoran slumped back in his chair, his heart pounding with exhilaration and relief. They had done it. Against all odds, they had won. The comm crackled to life, and Dante's voice filled the bridge. "This is Dante to all ships. The Zani have been defeated, but this is only the beginning." Zoran leaned forward, listening intently. "We are the humans, and we have returned," Dante continued, his voice ringing with fierce determination. "For those who have wronged us, you have one chance to surrender. If you do not, then you have only one option left: run." Zoran felt a shiver run down his spine. The galaxy would never be the same again. The humans had returned, and they were a force to be reckoned with. He glanced over at Zorgon, who was grinning from ear to ear. "Not bad for a day's work." Captain Zoran nodded, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Not bad at all, my friend. Not bad at all." Together they stood on the bridge, watching as the human fleet moved out into the stars, ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. The galaxy trembled before their might, and Zoran knew he had been part of something truly incredible. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. For every comment that says "I will heart" every single one of them. Thank you for your time.